I'm Karen Hartglass. It's time for another episode of It's All About Food. Thank you. You're here. You're joining me again. I'm grateful for that. We've been talking a lot about a lot of things in the last few shows. We always do. There's been a focus on animals. I really loved last week's show with Dr. Karen Davis talking about her book For the Birds. And I hope you had a chance to listen to that and share it. So much information in there about how we treat the other sentient beings that share our home, planet Earth. But today we're going to step away from the unpleasantries on our planet and talk about all of the wonderful reasons to eat plants. And the wonderful reason of all is that it's the most delicious way to eat. And I have two people that are going to be talking today who really know how to do this and have offered all of their tips and secrets for you in their second cookbook. I have the BOSH folks with me with a new cookbook, BISH, BASH, BOSH, Ian Theasby and Henry Firth. Welcome back to It's All About Food. Okay, I don't hear anything. Is that me? Uh-oh. How come I don't hear you? Oh, they dropped out. Well, this is the beauty of technology. And I believe it's 9 p.m. in Great Britain, where I think these BOSH folks are, so I hope we can get them back in because I'm really looking forward to talking to them. You may remember last year, it was May of last year, they came out with their first cookbook and they were actually in New York and I got to meet them and it was a lot of fun. And you can visit responsibleeatingandliving.com and just put BOSH in the search bar, and you can not only hear that interview, but see it, because since they were in the studio with me, we filmed it. And it was, like I said, a lot of fun. So are we going to get them back? That's the question. Do boom, 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 boom. Gosh, I hope. We are working on it. All right. Well, while we're waiting, and I really want to talk about this book because it's beautiful. It's a hardbound book with loads and loads of photos. And we don't see that a lot in cookbooks as much anymore. We've been in California for a little over 2 weeks, and we'll be here for another week. And it's always a challenging thing to do, traveling and eating. I'm always trying to hone my skills with traveling and eating, but it never exactly works the way I want it to. I'm trying to eat beans every day, and there are challenges to that. Fortunately, we have a nice kitchen where we're staying. But it's all about planning and preparation. And when you're working day and night, it's especially challenging. So I don't know how many of you have one job in an office, or maybe two, or maybe you're juggling lots of different assignments. But in order to eat well, there's a lot of planning involved in organization to fit into our complicated schedules. Oh, we're getting Disney signals now from Ian and Henry. Gosh, this is frustrating. Well, meanwhile, while we're waiting, we'll just talk about food, shall we? Okay. I wanted to talk, maybe you know, last week was National Ice Cream Week. No, not National Ice Cream Week, National Ice Cream Day. So every day has some food to celebrate. I don't know who started this, and there are different lists for what we're supposed to be focusing on each day of the year, and it's a marketing thing, I get it, but I've taken advantage of it. And National Ice Cream Day was sometime last week, maybe last Saturday. And what I'm celebrating are all of the different vegan ice creams that are out there. Oh my goodness, we're still getting busy signals from my guests. What are we going to do? Well, I am going to send a note right now to their publicist. Here we go. Okay, it's a conspiracy. Okay, well, keep trying. Keep trying. I want to talk to these guys today. Oh, they're back.
Hello.
Are you back, Ian and Henry? You're there.
Yes, we're here. How are you doing?
Okay, what's going on in the tech world out there? We had some trouble getting you on.
Bad connected. I think it's like big, thick walls and ironclad roofs and foreign mobile signal as well. Not as good as your local mobile phone signals. But we're here now.
Excellent. So I was just babbling a little bit about how last week we had a National Ice Cream Day, and I was going to talk about all the plant ice creams that are out there, but I'll skip that for later. Anyway, you've just got out a new cookbook, BISH, BOSH, BASH. Congratulations.
BISH, BASH,
and
BOSH.
I need more volume on both of you because
right.
I don't hear you very well. Okay, just for a moment, I want to hear Ian check in and introduce yourself because I want to hear each of you. Okay, Ian, how are you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well indeed. How are you doing?
I'm exhausted. It's been a very hectic schedule for me. And Henry, how are you?
Henry's here as well. Yes, this is Henry. Okay. Hello. But
Hello.
We're just passing the phone between ourselves rather than doing the speakerphone. So
yes.
There we
go. Okay, so I read your cookbook and I looked at all the wonderful pictures, and what I want to talk about is all of the places that you've been to where you were inspired, or maybe you were just inspired without going, but you did mention traveling to a bunch of different places, and I wanted to talk about those. So the first thing that piqued my curiosity was Ibiza. Is that how you say it? Ibiza?
Yes.
So
Ibiza,
I don't know who
Ibiza.
Addison is, but Addison had a bachelor party, and you went to Ibiza.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. So one of our best mates, Addison, we've known him for a long, long time. He got married to his fiancée, Claire Miller. And, as part of the celebration, he invited us two and a whole bunch of his other mates as well to go to Ibiza, to go and party and also just sort of celebrate the fact that he was getting married. So when we were over there, we went to a couple of places and ate some really fantastic meals, and we had a wonderful time over there. So we thought we'd name one of the burgers in BISH, BASH, BOSH after that time in Ibiza.
Now, I don't know if everyone knows where Ibiza is, but I understand it's one of... Excuse me?
So Ibiza is one of the Balearic Islands, which is in the Mediterranean Sea, just off the coast of Spain. There's two other islands that are pretty sizable there as well, Menorca and Mallorca. But Ibiza is famed for its wild partying and beautiful sunsets. It's a fantastic island.
Yeah, I've never been there, but wonderful to know that there's an island to go to with lively nightlife. Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's the liveliest nightlife probably on planet Earth. But, so if you're ever in Europe and ever in Spain, you should make the trip out to Ibiza because it is beautiful.
I will. I can't believe I lived in Europe for 4 years and I never went there. And now I'm feeling like I missed something. I missed the party.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. We talked about this on the last program, but you made some burgers there in Ibiza, and the real secret, I think, to burgers is not the burger itself. There are so many different kinds. You have a great recipe, and now there are numerous industrial plant burgers that are available out there. It's the bread, and it's the sauces, and it's the condiments, and it's everything else that goes along with it, which you offer a number of varieties in your book.
Yeah, that's right. A good burger is made up of a few key things, like you say. And a couple of years ago, it was extremely difficult to find things like vegan brioche buns, but now they're a lot more readily available. And also, as you say, the explosion in plant-based meats, like from the Impossible Burger, Beyond Burger, and in the UK, Moving Mountains Burger, are now a lot more easy to find. So we thought it was high time that we included some of this sort of stuff in one of our cookbooks. So we decided to make two incredibly tasty burgers, the Ibiza Sunset Burger, which has the balsamic onions and cheese, and also the LA Guac Burger, which has the hash brown and the guacamole.
Okay, what were you doing in LA?
We were, this is Henry here, we were in LA doing a load of fun stuff, actually. We went to VidCon. I don't know if you know that, but that's the kind of YouTuber, Facebooker, Instagrammer video conference. So we went there with Facebook, and we hung out, and we chatted to other people who, because we had a lot of content for Facebook, we chatted to other people like that. And then, more importantly, we just went to all the best restaurants we could find. So, really soaking up the vegan food scene in LA, which we like to do actually every single year.
And then you have a recipe for Boon Bo Whey from Southeast Asia. So were you traveling around Southeast Asia?
Absolutely. So I've been around Southeast Asia twice in my life, both times for a few months each time. And just the food out there is incredible. I find that there's something really rewarding about a really hot, spicy soup that's so spicy you kind of almost can't eat it. But it's also so delicious that you have to eat it. So I really fell in love with spicy food in Southeast Asia. And that's why it absolutely had to go in the book. That soup is incredible.
Let me ask you, when you're traveling, how religious are you about eating plant-based in order to, if you see something that you want to try and you want to make it all made from plants, but it might have animal products in it, do you have a rule that you follow?
We are curious. 100% plant-based, always. Yeah, so, I get asked that a lot, and I know a few people who might eat the odd animal product or eat a soup with fish sauce in it when they were traveling, but I personally, and also I'm pretty sure Ian is the same, I would just not want to eat it, really. But the good thing about going traveling nowadays is that there are just so many amazing vegan restaurants anywhere, so you can find amazing, incredible vegan options. You just have to hunt them down. But also, I think the other thing is that, all of these recipes, that bumbohuri and just all of those foreign recipes, they're kind of short memories as well. So from the food that we used to love. So it's a mix of the two, remembering the best animal product-based foods that we did eat, and then finding the best new recipes in vegan restaurants and vegan-friendly restaurants all over the world.
It's very exciting that we don't have to work as hard as we used to find vegan food all over the world, and have to explain ourselves. I have this little book that explains in 35 languages, I think, what vegans eat. So if you're stuck somewhere, you can give it to someone. And it came out decades ago, but I don't need it as much as I used to.
No, that's wonderful how times are changing.
Say that again?
I was just saying, it's really wonderful how quickly times are changing. It's definitely been a big cultural shift, certainly in Western society, toward a more plant-based diet, and we truly believe that will continue to be the case for years to come.
Now let's move to one of my very favorite ingredients, the garbanzo bean, which is wonderful as a flour and wonderful just as a bean. And we use it in so many recipes. You have a falafel recipe, and it's made with chickpeas.
That's
I
right.
wanted to mention, I was just thinking about this, but the falafel used to be made with, or is sometimes made with fava beans. And I love fava beans.
Fava beans.
But there are some people who people who can't eat fava beans. They have some kind of
yeah, that's right.
enzymatic deficiency,
Dietary.
and they can't eat the fava bean, which is a fascinating thing. So the chickpea makes a perfect substitution with all the right spices, and is great for the falafel. So the chickpea, once again, saves the day. Hooray.
Indeed,
yeah.
it does.
Now you've got lots of different recipes. Some of them are quick, and you note how quick they are, and others are not quick at all. They take a lot of preparation, and that's great. The key in the beginning of your book is you list all the things that people need to have, all the ingredients, the equipment, and this is what makes food prep faster, if you have everything you need when you're about to make something, right?
Absolutely.
So,
Yes, absolutely.
yeah. I know that some people, when they look at a recipe and they go, oh my God, it's got 12 ingredients, too many. But some of those are just like herbs and spices, which make things taste better.
Yeah, we found that a lot when writing this book. Like we were trying to keep ingredients down, but 5 herbs in a dish, it doesn't really feel like 5 ingredients. It's just 5 things that you should have in your cupboard anyway, and we need it to get all of the good flavor.
Again, I'm going to go back to, as I mentioned before, what makes burgers so great are the condiments and the sauces and the extras. So let's talk about sauce for a minute and how important sauce is. So many people who are meat eaters, especially in French cuisine, the meat often comes with some wonderful rich sauce on it. And you have a Café de Paris secret sauce in your book, which I can't wait to try.
Yeah.
And made with shallots and tarragon and capers and white wine and red wine. It sounds really fantastic. And can make anything just decadent, right?
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that dish is so good. This again harks back to when I used to eat meat, and I used to go to this amazing French restaurant, called Le Relais de Venise, the Entrecôte, and there's nothing on the menu at all. You just go in and they just ask you how you like your steak. And oh my goodness, I miss that sauce and I miss that flavor of steak. So when we were writing this book, I really wanted to find a way to get this in. So we spent months in the kitchen trying out the sauce and trying different combinations. No one knows, by the way, how to make this sauce. It's a secret. But we deciphered it and we created our own version, which I think is better than the original. And then, as you say, we paired it with a steak, which is made out of seitan, which is fairly easy to make at home. It's umami. And, I challenge anyone to give that to a meat eater and not have them love it. It's such a delicious dish.
You have a recipe for roasted root vegetables, and in the cold weather, I love roasted root vegetables, and it's really such an easy dish to make. We have it a lot. And you add clementines to yours, and I love that idea. I often don't think about adding fruit with vegetables, but when I do, it's so delightful.
Yeah, absolutely. Fruit and vegetables can work beautifully side by side. For instance, we also have a recipe for a Thai salad which has got mango in it, and the sweetness kind of offsets the spiciness of the chili in that mango salad perfectly. And when it comes to the clementines and those roasted vegetables, we designed that recipe with Christmas in mind. And clementine is certainly a flavor that people associate with Christmas. So it really works very lovely with the parsnip and those carrots as well.
I don't know if you were aware, but a few decades ago, there was a theory that people put out. I think there was a book too, and it had to do with food combining, and it was recommended not to eat fruit with anything and not to eat starch with protein. And a lot of people adhered to this and thought it was important. And of course, there's no science that supports food combining like this. Our digestive systems are really smart. And if we weren't able to safely consume starch with meat, we like any plant food, because they all contain protein and starch, protein, carbohydrate, and fat in them. Anyway, it's okay to prepare fruit with your vegetables. That's my point.
Absolutely. I completely agree. And in actual fact, what are we talking about here? We're talking about a plant-based diet, or also referred to as eating the rainbow. And actually, the more different foodstuffs we can get into our diet, the better. Like, they all have different phytochemicals, phytonutrients, different good bits within them that do different positive things in our body. So, you know, our ancestors would have been constantly walking around grazing, picking off different berries, picking off different leaves, and ultimately getting thousands of different foods into our body. And part of the problem that we have is we have just a few things. We tend to eat just the same few things, and actually getting more ingredients into our bodies is really, really important.
Last year when I talked to you, I was mentioning when I was young in school, I learned how to make pound cake in home economics, and you weren't familiar with what pound cake was, so apparently it's an American thing. And in your book, you have the banoffee pie, which I didn't know what that was. Can you explain what that is and what your recipe is all about?
Yes, the banoffee pie. Yeah, so that basically is riff on a banana cream pie. It's got wonderful caramelly sauce that we use with coconut milk. It's got lovely bananas in there, which obviously provide fantastic flavor. It's got great sweetness. And we've also paired it with pre-rolled pastry that we've rolled up with chocolate powder in between the rolls. So it looks amazing. It tastes amazing. It's the perfect thing to share with your family on a Sunday afternoon. And we are, in fact, cooking that dish live on the Today Show in a couple of days' time here in New York City.
Oh, my goodness, that's wonderful. I hope they give you more time than they did the last time.
Yeah, well, I think 3 or 4 minutes is more than enough to get our point across.
And the good thing is we're presenting vegan food to the nation, which we're really excited about. Yeah.
Oh, they're going to love it. They're going to love it. Everybody loves desserts. Now, I have a question
absolutely. Everybody loves
about your choice of the word vegan. So in your book, I don't see it very often, and I just wondered, was that a specific decision? The front cover says your favorites all plants. You're labeled the vegan Jamie Olifers, the Times of London, and then the rest of the book doesn't really talk about that things are vegan. They're just obviously plants. Did you do that intentionally?
Yeah, it was intentional. We wanted the book to be as comfortable on the shelves of a meat eater or a flexitarian as a vegan. And so it made sense for us, although being very proud to be vegan and proud that it was a vegan book, it made sense for us to essentially just make it nice, comfortable reading and not overdo the use of the word. So we did use it somewhere, but we don't use it a lot. But more and more we're moving away from that, and actually we have something else that we're working on at the moment where the vegan word will be front and center of that. But for those cookbooks, because we're aiming to get meat eaters into the kitchen to eat vegan food, we thought we'd go nice and softly with that word.
Humans are funny. The way
they are. They really
we
are.
need to appeal to all of us and how we react and how we frame things from our own perspective. It's just a fascinating thing. And some would say, yes, it should say vegan all over the place, and others would say, no, it shouldn't. And, I just want everybody to eat plants, however we can make that happen.
We agree.
One more recipe that I thought was adorable are the sushi cupcakes.
Ah, yes, sushi cupcakes. Now, both of us are big fans of sushi and have been for an awful long. Yeah, we've both been big fans of sushi for a long, long time. And the reason why we decided to make sushi cupcakes is because some people would maybe find it quite difficult to roll the sushi as a sushi chef would, or they might not have the rolling mat needed in order to turn that nori over. So we thought a good way to give people the flavor and to give people the same bite and satisfaction was to package it in a different way. So we thought about the best way to package it, and we thought about the way that people could get creative with the look and feel of them, and sushi cupcakes just seemed like a logical option, and we're really pleased with them. They look really pretty when you make them, perfect for making with kids.
Well, you're familiar with photographing food and filming food, and I think sushi is one of those kinds of foods that's really hard to photograph, to get them at the right angle and look right, but the cupcake form makes a nice picture.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, I understand you have another book coming out pretty soon, right?
We're busy boys.
We do indeed, yes. It's very exciting.
And it's more a how-to or why-to?
Exactly. So the new book is called How to Live Vegan. And the subtitle is Save the Planet and Feel Amazing. Now, that's already a pretty impressive start right there. Now, the thing we're going to be doing in that book is talking about the why and the how. We've devoted about half of the book to the why and half of the book to the how. So it's a perfect gift for somebody who, maybe is thinking about going vegan but not sure where to start. And we've got loads of tips and tricks to help you work out how to make it a success. And that's all in the how part of the book. But it's also the perfect book if you want to educate your friends, your mum or dad, or your girlfriend or boyfriend about why they might want to think about this. And we talk about things like climate change and animal welfare, as well as human health. And we go through all of the best information that's out there right now as to why a plant-based diet is beneficial for the world, and then how you can do it.
Speaking of climate change, where are you now, and have you experienced any interesting weather?
Well, we're currently sat in a park in Dumbo, New York, and it is very, very warm indeed. Now, I know New York does come with hot summers, but we came here about 3 days ago. But just before we came, we were in London, and London's experienced the hottest July day of all time. I think it hit 37.5 degrees, and that is unprecedented. That's like weather that the UK just really isn't used to. No one really has any air conditioning units, so everyone was just just shocked by it. And it's obvious that things are changing and getting warmer and warmer year on year.
We've been talking that this was going to happen for decades, and it is happening as predicted. And maybe now people will pay attention. I'm continually telling people if everyone started to eat plants today, we could slow this heating down.
That's right.
So everybody needs to bish, bash, bosh right now. Bish, bash, bosh. Eat plants.
Bish, bash, bosh, and eat more plants. Woo-hoo.
Exactly. So where are you going in New York? Where have you been eating, and where are you going to eat?
We have eaten at Sweet Greens. We're trying to be a little bit healthy, so avoiding all of the burgers. So we had some tasty food at Sweet Greens. We also did have an Impossible Burger yesterday at Bear Burger. And then tonight, we don't know. Have you got any recommendations?
Well, I was going to mention PS Kitchen because you have this wonderful Wild West wings with oyster mushrooms recipe, which I love.
Yeah.
And occasionally we'll go to PS Kitchen after seeing a Broadway show because they're open late. And it's a fun place to go to anytime, but it's great after hours for small bites and beers and things. And they make a maitake mushroom buffalo wing that's just outrageous.
Nice. We have actually been to PS Kitchen before, and it was incredible. The food was so good, and I loved the whole ethos around the place. And, you know, they really give back to the community there, don't they?
Yeah, I think they've gotten better, too. I like when that happens to a restaurant. They kind of settle in and figure out who they are. Well, I hope you have a great time in New York. I'm sorry I'm not there. I'm in California.
Mm-hmm. And,
that's all good.
But I'm glad we had the opportunity to chat.
I'll come and see you next time.
Yes.
Really good. I hope the line was okay.
Yeah, it was great. So thank you for taking the time, and have fun on the Today Show. And everybody, remember, BISH, BASH, BOSH, your favorites all planned. Thank you for joining me, Ian and Henry.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thanks very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Now it's time for the second part of the show. And I have another special guest, your very favorite guest, and my very favorite guest. Everybody know who it is? It's Gary DeMattei.
It's me. Hi, everybody. Karen, I'm so happy to be back on your show. I haven't been here in, it feels like, forever. And here we are in California again, talking about Bish Bash Bosh, your favorite all plants. This book is by Henry Firth and Ian Theasby, is really gorgeous. I mean,
it is gorgeous. And I want to say that it's definitely a meat and potatoes kind of.
I love it. And
even though it's all vegan.
We're doing a dinner on Saturday night. We, Karen and I, have volunteered our time for a fundraiser. We did this when? Way back
in
December for a theater company that we love and want to support as much as possible out here in San Jose, a family theater company, all-inclusive family theater. Their mission is to produce theater and to teach theater and to do all kinds of wonderful things with people young and old, families that want to get involved. You know how sometimes when your child is involved in theater, you drop them off. Well, in this particular company, you don't drop off, you stay with them and you do a show with your kids. And it's great because there's a lot of parents out there who grew up doing shows, and why would they want to give it up? Anyway, they had a big auction fundraiser, and one of the items was a dinner for 10 prepared by the Swingin' Gourmets.
The Swingin' Gourmets. Do you remember the Swingin' Gourmets?
Yes.
So if you know who the Swingin' Gourmets are, you can go to swingingourmets.com.
Yeah,
you can also go to responsibleeatingliving.com, and our barbecue food show is up there. It's one of my favorites with the Swingin' Gourmets. And
yes.
it's kind of like a Lucy and Desi, I Love Lucy kind of feeling.
Lucy and Ricky feeling. It's got a canned laugh track, and it's
in black and white.
It's in black and white. It's
really
a lot of fun. Yeah, anyway, check it out. Anyway, so we're going to do this dinner for 10 at a beautiful home in the Rose Garden district of San Jose that was also donated as part of the package by some support.
Not the home, but using the home.
No, using the home, not the home. And so I'm going to do some recipes from Henry and Ian's book.
Yeah, so I wanted to show you.
Because the theme is comfort food, vegan comfort food, and that's the theme of our evening, and we're going to do some casual comfort food, several courses.
I didn't point this out. in the last half hour. But
You should
in
see
the
this
book,
It's
they have
gorgeous.
fantastic feasts and where to find them. So they have combined a lot of recipes that are in the book and put them into themed feasts. So there's Italian flavors.
Or Italian flavors.
And then there's incredible curries.
Incredible curries.
Incredible curries.
Southeast Asian deliciousness. Eat the rainbow. If you're looking to fill your body with color and nutrients, then these dishes will see you right. Get your greens and colors in with this feast of plant-based goodness. And it's got all kinds of terrific stuff. Christmas and Thanksgiving, takeaway classics, high protein, British classics, Tex-Mex, I can't believe it's plants, Mediterranean goodness, American classics. That's the one I'm going to look at for the Wild West wings look good. The party poppers with BOSH barbecue sauce.
Mm-hmm.
Barbecue beans with mushrooms, burnt ends, Texan potato salad, crunchy cauliflower. I mean, that sounds like a dinner right there.
It could be. They're going to make it easy for us.
They are, and that's why we're going to feature this book at this party and hopefully try and get some folks to, maybe we should get them to buy a couple of copies.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We like Henry and Ian. We want to help them as much as possible.
Yeah, they're going to be on the Today Show.
Ooh, today?
I'm not sure. In a few days, they just told me they're going to be making their banoffee pie. Have you heard of banoffee pie?
No.
It's a British thing.
No.
It's like a bananas, cream, and toffee pie.
Ooh,
so
wow.
we have to make that.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've been doing a lot of crazy things around here in California.
When I started the program and we were having some technical difficulties getting them on the line, I started talking about National Ice Cream Day, which was last week.
What did we do?
We stumbled upon
It was almost like the universe was just
destiny.
guiding us there. I mean, we could have
Yeah.
taken a million different routes on our walk to downtown San Jose. We did a lovely walk
Yes.
in downtown San Jose, and then we were on our way back to this beautiful neighborhood.
Well,
where,
first we ate at the Vegetarian House,
Of
which is our
course.
home away from home, but we didn't have dessert because we were filled, and we're not really dessert people.
and we were on a big walk, and we
Then-
found this vegan donut shop that sells vegan gelato right in the middle of downtown San Jose.
And it was National Ice Cream Day, so we had to stop in.
We had to. Oh my
We had
gosh.
to. And we had cones.
Yes, and it was great, and everything looked really like it was made for us. I wanted to just jump into the donut case and start eating donuts,
But we didn't.
But I didn't.
Yeah.
It was tough enough just to get.
But we're not big sugar eaters anymore.
Not anymore.
And
no.
now we prefer the pressed juicery freeze, which we really indulged in for the rest of the week. Like
Yeah,
almost
they do.
every day for a few days.
They do a really nice job at pressed.
But I have to tell you one thing. So most of the freeze at Pressed Juicery is made from whole foods like almonds and dates and strawberries and chocolate. And they even have a matcha flavor, which they didn't have at this store because they replaced it with a pineapple flavor. But the matcha flavor is made with kale and spinach and green tea. And you don't know. It's a sweet treat. But what they've added, and I'm going to make a disclaimer here, but they have a lot of toppings, and some of the toppings are like blueberries and strawberries, but the prepared toppings were not
I know where
often
you're going.
vegan.
I know where you're going.
And now
there.
they have a whole bunch of vegan toppings, they look like M&Ms.
They do look like M&Ms.
And they're
And they
candy.
taste like Kit Kat bars.
They've got quinoa in them. They're candy coated with chocolate. They have a praline crumble.
They're insanely good.
Sweet and salty.
No, it's just
And then they had sprinkles.
not fair. Not fair at all for people who want to stay on a whole, minimally processed, whole plant foods diet. They're making it difficult. Be careful out there.
I have to say that I prefer the freeze without the toppings, but I wanted to try them just for the fun experience. But they really were too sweet.
Yeah, well, you did good though. You got the sprinkles and the praline and the vegan M&Ms.
Yeah, the quinoa crunchies, whatever
They must have done popped quinoa and then mixed it with chocolate and then did the sugar coating.
Yep.
Don't you think?
Yep.
That's how they got that Kit Kat bar kind of flavor?
I don't know. But
with quinoa. Go figure. I mean,
Go
at least
figure.
something was somewhat healthy in there.
Yeah, so
The
the
quinoa.
point is, just like with this cookbook, Bish Bash Bosh, all your favorites, all plants.
You can do it.
You
You
can
can
do
do it. You don't need to kill animals to get all your favorites. Now you can do it without. And there's so many burgers coming out. There's, of course, the Beyond Burger, and there's
Which
the,
is now worth 10 times the
yeah.
offering
Let us all
price,
know the
okay?
stock options.
They wanted to offer it at like $25 a share when it first came out, and as soon as it opened, it was up at like 45, and then it closed at 60 something, and now it's over $250 a share. It
Oh
just
my
in a
God.
very little amount of time, it
Unbelievable.
10 times what it's worth, which is really exciting.
Why didn't we buy any of that?
Oh yeah, shoulda, woulda, coulda. I don't believe in stocks.
No? And why is that?
It's just
You don't believe in livestock, and you don't believe in
exactly.
stock.
I believe in vegetable stock.
vegetable. Oh, that's very good.
But light and dark.
You believe in vegetable stock,
I
not
do.
stock.
Well, my feeling about stock when it comes to economics, especially since I've worked in the corporate world,
Mm-hmm.
is I found that our quality and quantity and everything was geared to stockholder meetings.
Right.
And if a stockholder meeting was coming up, we had to do everything we could to make the books look good.
Right.
And I saw some questionable things that would occur
Oh, I bet.
in order to make the books look good.
bet.
I would just like a company to make a quality product. I also think a company should profit sharing to the employees. And that should be like a requirement.
And that's
in
why you should
society.
be running things, Karen.
Yeah,
I really believe that.
yeah.
You really should. So let's talk about what we've been doing. Well, let's talk about what we did last night. So I have this play that I wrote called Bad Hemingway by the Bay, and we had a reading. This was an invited-only reading at Cafe Stritch last night, and we had a pretty good crowd. Cafe Stritch is a wonderful jazz venue in downtown San Jose. Really,
Live music.
really a wonderful venue, and it's run by Michael and Maxwell Borkenhagen, and they are just terrific human beings, and they should have been closed and at home resting, but I wrote Michael and asked him if I could have him open his wonderful venue for my reading, and he said of course, and Maxwell and Michael both were there and greeted us and set us up, and we did this reading for about 45 or so invited friends and family
Maybe more.
members.
There were a lot of people.
Yeah, it was just an invitation-only thing, and I got to read the play there again after doing it a few years ago there, and I've done some rewrites, and Karen is in the play as well, and I thought it went really well.
It went really well. I'm very proud of you, Gary.
Yeah, we got some great feedback.
Yeah,
I'm
we're gonna bring it to New York City next in September. If you're interested,
Yes, if you're in New York,
you can email me. I'll send you details. info@realmeals.org.
come see it. It's great. So we've been doing that, and then afterwards, this is where the food part comes in. My cousin Nancy and Wade were at the reading, and we are staying close to where they lived, and so we walked over to their house afterwards and had a vegan nosh fest.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
It was it was impromptu, right? And we had some lovely hummus and some vegan crackers, and
They were so good. We had them last week at your brother-in-law's birthday party. They're lentil flour based, and they have lots of spices on them. I forget the name off the top of my head, but it'll be in my What Vegans Eat blog.
Yes, and so when you clean up your act and you eat whole, minimally processed plant foods, and you rid yourself of all of the chips and things, once in a while it's kind of fun to eat some things that remind you of the old days when you were noshing on Doritos every single day, 3 times a day. We don't do that anymore, but once in a while when it's a celebration, it's nice to get out. And they're making some really healthy options. These crackers tasted to me like the old Dorito days.
It was like a Dorito because it had that dusty spice on the outside.
Dusty spice.
But they weren't that salty. They were just full of flavor.
And it was really, really cool. And then, it's not every day that you have vegan cupcakes, but it was Nancy's birthday, and she froze a bunch of the vegan cupcakes that she bought at various bakeries.
Vegan gluten-free cupcakes.
Vegan gluten-free cupcakes. And we have this bakery here in town called Icing on the Cake in Los Gatos. It's been around forever. And it's and they're really starting to do a lot more vegan options. So yeah, if once in a while you need to have a cupcake, they're out there. Just, you can't have them 3 or 4 times a day like I used to have them when I didn't have vegan cupcakes. But now everybody's selling vegan cupcakes.
Yeah, and she bought some Trader Joe's vanilla, soy creamy, and the chocolate.
The coconut-based.
Coconut-based, but apparently the soy creamy with the cherry chocolate is not to be found.
I guess it's being like,
is there a
they
conspiracy?
Can't keep it on the shelves. They're just like rolling it out. And what was the salad that I didn't eat any of that you were eating?
Yes, it was a Zoodles, zucchini noodles, because it's zucchini season, folks. And
Nancy grows it in her backyard, yeah.
And it was with black bean pasta, which was made with just black beans and water.
That's it, black bean flour and water?
And it had like garlic and some other flavorings.
I'm getting hungry.
It was really good. I'm getting hungry too.
What are we eating?
Back to ice cream. I just wanted to mention this.
Ice cream, you scream, we all scream for.
So there are a lot of ice cream chains out there.
Vegan ice cream.
And Ben & Jerry's, as you may know, has come up with a number of vegan flavors. Haagen-Dazs has come up with a number of vegan flavors.
I know where you're going.
I have not tried any of them, but I know they're out there, and it's a good thing. And the last to offer vegan flavors, the famous Baskin & Robbins.
Yes.
Starting August 1st is introducing 2 new flavors in select stores. And tonight, we're having dinner with John Robbins and his wife.
I know. I'm really looking forward to that.
And I'm going to ask John for a statement on this because his dad was the one who started, along with his uncle, the company Baskin & Robbins. Of course, the family has nothing to do with it anymore and haven't for a long time. But
that's going to be fun.
It's interesting that they finally are offering a dairy-free vegan ice cream.
So the last holdout in that sort of old school fast food world, ice cream parlors and burger stands is what? McDonald's? They still haven't come out with a vegan burger, but a lot of the other ones are starting to come out with. Even Colonel Sanders is coming out with something, right? A vegan chicken substitute.
I think so.
Thank goodness, because stop killing those poor little chickens for food and taking their eggs and all of that horrible stuff that's going on. But I'm looking forward to Deo's cooking tonight because she usually puts on a nice feast for us when we go over there. And
one of the few who's not afraid to cook for us.
Right. That's the thing, right? Is a lot of folks are afraid to cook for us. I wonder why that is.
So if you're not afraid, invite us over.
Yeah. We've got some recipes coming out in a cookbook, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to come out January of 2020.
Yeah, let's tell everybody about that.
But there's the One Green Planet cookbook. So I had interviewed Neil Zacharias last year. I think he had a book out called Eat for the Planet, I think it was called, by him and Gene Stone, and now they have a cookbook coming out. I'm surprised it's taken so long. But
the lovely Gene Stone. We like Gene a lot. He does some.
And there's supposed to be some 75 recipes, and we submitted about 7, I think, and he told us we have more recipes in that cookbook than anybody else.
Wow. I like how they build everybody in that cookbook, too. That made me feel like we really knew what we were doing. Talked about us, like all of us, like we were really special.
Gary, you are special.
Are we?
Yeah.
Oh, no, just Gary. Just Gary and Karen, who cook from the heart.
Yes, and like to eat.
Yes. Speaking of that, where are we going for lunch?
Well, I think we're just going to have a light nosh because we're going to have dinner soon.
Oh, is it really that time already?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Well, maybe we'll go for lunch.
Okay, so here's a sandwich in...
Bish Bash Bosh.
Bish Bash Bosh. It's called Toefish Finger Sandwich. Mm-hmm. And it's a true shining star of a sandwich. This is our take on the classic British fish finger. combined with a quick tartar sauce and delightful mashy peas. Make more of the tartar sauce to keep in your fridge. It is great with our double-cooked fries on page 178 or a baked potato. The toefish fingers will keep really well in the freezer. All right, this is a great-looking recipe for those of you who feel like you can't have that fish sandwich, because I know a lot of people are missing that. You know, they're thinking, well, I'm not fish, and I want to say, if the fish is what you wish, try this dish.
The toefish. The
toefish finger sandwich. Don't eat fish, because as Karen has talked about many times on this program, the fish don't want to be eaten.
It's like in the movie Finding Nemo. Fish are your friends, not food, and there's so much research coming out about how intelligent fish are. Fish and also the mammals that are in the water, of course, dolphins and whales. There's so much intelligence down there.
Oh.
And I was just reading a post by someone we know on Facebook who had gone fishing and was showing the fish that he caught, but he said it was too small, so he threw it back. And what they don't understand, unfortunately, is once you have caught a fish, that fish is wounded.
Mm-hmm.
And when you throw it back, they're wounded and they are subject, they're more likely, they're attracting other fish,
right,
the predators.
And you know, I know that a lot of people like to take their grandchildren out fishing as some sort of rite of passage, but really when you think about what a horrible thing that is to teach your grandchildren to kill an innocent swimming, I mean, yeah, there's this whole, you know, idyllic setting of, you know, grandpa and the grandchild, or grandma and the grandchild in the boat and casting the line into the water, and look at how beautiful it all is, and it's a nice moment. Well, they've got this thing now, which you were telling me about.
I did. I talked about it a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and I just want to keep talking about that because I think it's great. You can do all that now and not kill the fish, but feed
them.
Feed the fish.
I love that idea.
Yeah, and so
you can connect.
So what is it? Tell us what it is. It's a little basket that's at the end of a fishing line.
Yeah, it's very inexpensive. You have to provide the fishing line. So if you
you could go buy your equipment or already have your equipment in the garage.
You just take the hook off and you put this little feeding box
That to
on.
me is so symbolic of how we can just with one simple little adjustment make the world a better place.
Yep.
Like just
it's so symbolic. I love it.
I know.
Yeah.
It's just take off the hook and put on this little basket of
food.
Love.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because love is the only answer.
Yeah, well, I guess. And on your plate you can do the same thing. You can take off the meat and the flesh and all of that and just replace it with, if you use BISH, BASH, BOSH's book, things that look brown and gooey and barbecue-y, because I mean, that's what you want to see. You want to see something brown, and that's an easy way to make a transition, and this book will help you do that. Now, I have no connection with this book. I don't get any money from the sale of this book. I just think that we need to promote things like this that are helping people transition to a plant-based vegan diet. And another thing I want to talk about is this movie that's coming out.
The Game Changers?
The Game Changers.
Oh, I can't wait. It's premiering September 16th. We have to get tickets.
We have to get tickets to that. This is a great film. If you haven't seen the trailer, check it out. There are so many wonderful little moments. And Arnold Schwarzenegger is one of the guys that's gone, I guess he's gone vegan, right? I mean, he's...
Yeah, I'm not sure. Vegan, vegetarian. We know he's not eating meat.
Right. And James Cameron is one of the producers as well, possibly even the director, and there's this one. There's several wonderful moments. Check out the trailer. It's called The Game Changers. It's very inspiring, very exciting. All right, what else we got going on?
Well, we only have a few minutes, and I just thought you might share your experience when you went to visit your aunt and uncle on a farm.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you were talking about grandparents taking their grandkids fishing and kind of imparting this romantic imagery and culture.
Yeah, so I never went to camp, per se, because I had an aunt and uncle that had a 1,000-acre cattle ranch in, it was up near La Honda, California, and it was idyllic. It was gorgeous. They were actually the caretakers. The folks that actually owned the ranch were these very, very wealthy owners of a bank. And so they had this toy, and their toy was this 1,000-acre cattle ranch. And yet they were never there. And on the property there were cabins, and there was a main house where my aunt and uncle stayed, and it was gorgeous. And they had chickens, and they had sheep, and they had cattle, and they grew hay. And one day in the 7th grade, the summer of my 7th grade year, so I was going into 8th grade, they took a calf, they hung it upside down, and they slit its throat, and the blood drained into a bucket, and the calf was, of course, screaming and wriggling. And I saw this. They made me look at this, and I hated everyone after that for a long time. And they had to basically coax me back to saying, well, no, this is the natural way that humans need to do this, and the calf is born for our purposes, and when it was born lame, they said, so that's why they had to kill it. And that never left me. And then, of course, the veil dropped back down, and I went through most of my life eating meat, but that always stayed with me. And after going vegan, it came back, and I'm happy now and sad at the same time that I didn't do it a lot sooner. I should have just hated them all and stayed hating them for doing
It's hard how they manipulate us and make something so brutal and violent seem normal.
Heartbreaking, sad. It happens every day to millions and millions and millions of animals, and this program, I'm sure, will help a lot of folks see the light.
So we're glad that there are people like Henry Firth and Ian Theasby making great recipes, BISH, BASH, BOSH.
Yes.
And Gary
I'm glad there's Karen Hartglass out there, and I'm glad you're all out there listening.
Yeah. So thank you so much for joining me and Gary today on It's All About Food. I'm always so happy that you're there and tuning in, and we'll be back next week. In the meantime, have a delicious week, everybody.
Bye, everybody.